sailing with the boat. A sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat.
Through hurricane and storm, hell or high water come. And when she needs a push, I'm going to push like bush.
A sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat. A sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat.
Through hurricane and storm,
The theme for World Maritime Day 2025 is Our Ocean, Our Obligation, Our Opportunity. We're going to tell you a little bit more inside your spotlight on now.
Joining us this morning for Spotlight is Ricardo Alfred, Marine Engineer and Maritime Surveyor and ISM Auditor. Good morning, Ricardo, and welcome to the show.
Yes, hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on set. Well, virtually on set, I should say. Ricardo, how did you start in maritime?
So good morning again. Right, so I started in the maritime field back in I believe it was about 2021, thereabouts, when I would have pursued a career in marine engineering, and I had went off to Jamaica. At the time, Jamaica was the only maritime college in the region, and then from there, I would have elevated in terms of different career paths, in terms of positions going forward in that field. Then I would have came back home to work on at the time you had a vessel called the NV Beauport. Then I would have ventured internationally to other ships, a couple passenger ships and that type of thing. And then I would have ventured back home, back here in Trinidad on the Panorama and some of these local boats. And then would have did some more international time and then came back home. So I'm back home now, currently at the Port Authority.
Well, definitely a journey to say the least. But it's good to know, of course, that you would have elected maritime at a young age. Let's speak a little bit about why now today we don't necessarily see youths choosing maritime careers.
Right. What had happened is that as a youth growing up, there's a lot of opportunities in this field as relates to being financially sustainable. This field allowed me that, and because I had started off at a very young age, it allows me to gain a lot of practical experience, which worked out very well. As a young person, and I know that it is very challenging right now, I would say, for young people in terms of career paths. Fortunately, I had a mentor. His name was Davidson Hackett. He has since passed on, which would have allowed me to keep me on a path as relates to this type of industry. So I think having that mentorship and seeing and getting some relevant discussions and having advice throughout that career path would have definitely aided in that type of, it aided me in that type of industry. So I believe it's the mentorship that is lacking right now for a lot of the young people.
Now, outside of the mentorship, is it that we also have a lack of awareness when it comes to maritime careers in Trinidad and Tobago?
The maritime field is very good. So you have the tourism in maritime, which relates to the water sports. You're talking about fishermen and this type of thing. In terms of the awareness part of it, in the past, it was mostly persons who if your family was involved in it, you definitely would have got involved in it and you would have known more about it. So I would say awareness is one part of it as well. And there wasn't much avenues back then in terms of the maritime field because, again, the only college at the time was either England or outside of that or Jamaica.
Now, as you mentioned, the opportunities, of course, would have changed from then to now. So what opportunities or what training options are available now locally? And is there anything missing that we need to work on?
The maritime field, what is there now? Now you have this UTT, which allows persons to be trained. I guess in terms of the opportunities, persons would need something called sea time, which allows the person to do some theory in school, and then you go to the ship to get your practical experience. So I would say there's a gap there. It doesn't work as what happens across the region. If I can give you an example, like in Jamaica, any ship trading in Jamaica must have a deck or engine cadet, meaning that those are trainees both for the navigation and for the engineering side. That is a mandatory thing, and they must be there for at least 1 year. We are not there as yet, but I believe with the right regulations and the right push, we should get there.
Now, as you mentioned that, in light of our current situation, how can youths invest in their maritime future from your perspective?
So for me, this life is a very unique life, meaning that one has to understand the benefits and also understand the disadvantage of it. The benefits of it is that it is very lucrative. The disadvantage that most seafarers face is the family life. Sometimes you're away from your family, sometimes for some months at a time. It does affect your family life. I'm not going to hide that. It affects I guess if you have children and stuff like that, it affects them emotionally. And then for the benefit of it, it does allow you to sit at a very good financial back end, which allows you to maintain your family. So I guess it's to find that balance, which allows that type of environment to foster.
Yes, many complexities, of course, in maritime life, as you would have mentioned there. Personal life, family life is one of the main things that is affected, which is why many times we see people moving from the sea to shore jobs. What skills help a seafarer make that transition?
All right, so let me give you some background here now. So as an engineer, I was able to understand the boundaries of my qualification. I would have then went on to do different courses in which I also hold an undergraduate degree in marine engineering, and I now hold a master's in port and maritime management. This now can allow me to move and to do things like consultancies, and it also allows me to do different things. I mean, I do own and operate a school in Tobago called Tobago Sea School, which I provide a lot of marine training, certified courses. I do from time to time speak to several schools and several young people as relates to this type of environment. So it's finding the balance as well. The consultancy part of it is very good. I am a consultant. I'm currently out of the country on an assignment right now. So, again, it allows that. But for me, it's all about gaining the experience and doing things that able to push my career and to understand the different synergies around the region and to see if we can find a better resource as relates to what's going on right now in the maritime sector.
Now, keeping the conversation with youth particularly and referencing experience, in most industries it can be quite a challenge for the younger generation to get experience, and it's one of the main prerequisites for many careers. Are those opportunities available for the younger ones to get the experience, or are there any blocks that will maybe even inhibit them from starting a business?
Yes, so one of the major hinders is that you have a lot of I don't want to be very prejudiced here, but you have a lot of HR persons who may not understand just exactly what a C qualification is. Mm-hmm. And this kind of persons getting promoted also can affect persons coming into a system, because you have a lot of, I want to say, persons who have a lot of experience that may not be willing to transition out of the industry and allow room for the younger people to come in. This poses a very serious challenge, but again, when people hear sea, they think rough water, all sort of creatures under the water and that type of thing. So there's and there's also some negative comments as relates to persons on sea. But most importantly, and I think that for me, for what I've experienced, is an HR issue in terms of them understanding what is needed for someone working on a ship, and also what is needed for someone who is an industry, like works in an industry. So you have things like port management, right? But then they may not understand, and they may look at different qualifications that are not in line with that. So, this is what caused a lot of young people to move away. It also caused a lot of seafarers to be very disturbed. So it's to understand that type of career and, fit persons in positions that they can actually allow more persons to come in, that therefore bring benefit and also increase the efficiency of any organization.
As we get ready to close our conversation this morning, Ricardo, what is your message to youths who are considering maritime?
My message to them is a very good field. I believe that, this type of career would allow you to build some level of financial freedom. One must understand where they are in life and set a goal, and it all can be, and everything, that you wish to achieve can be achieved. I would say keep your head on. There's a lot of bad influence as relates to this type of career. But it's quite lucrative, and you will see the rewards from this type of career. So it's a very good field. So I encourage them to get in it. Just bear in mind some of the disadvantages of it, but it's a good. So it therefore will allow you to do a lot. Yeah. So especially now as relates to jobs and job security and this type of thing. Once you are confident in your own career, you can move on to many different things.
Wonderful. Well, Ricardo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully you'll continue to fly the flag of maritime careers for Trinidad and Tobago and, of course, for the region.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ricardo Alfred, marine engineer, maritime surveyor and ISM auditor, is actually currently in Barbados as a consultant for the United Nations Development Programme, sharing with us today the maritime field and all of its benefits and admittedly its challenges as well. Stay tuned. There's more coming up right after this break.
Hello, high water come, and when she needs a push, I'm going to push like bush.